Welcome to the Stone Church Podcast, a series of conversations we hope will spark your curiosity and encourage you in your faith journey.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Stone Church Podcast. We're here to talk about faith at work. My name is Lauren, and I'm excited to be leading today's episode where we talk with Christian professionals about how they live out their faith in the workplace. Today, I'm thrilled because we have a very special guest, a woman whose creativity, leadership, and commitment to Christ have all shaped an incredible career. Margot, thank you so much for joining us.
Lauren, thank you for having me. I'm the one that's excited.
For those who may not know Margot, she is a multi-hyphenate creative. Seriously, she does it all. She's a personal brand photographer and videographer at Margot Daley Photography. She also brings over 3 decades of experience as an award-winning unscripted TV producer, director, story editor, and former network executive. And beyond all of that, she's been a faithful and deeply valued member of Stone Church for many years. Before we dive in, I like to remind listeners the Bible had professionals too. Judges, tent makers, physicians, and I'm sure there were people producing shows and plays in ancient Israel.
Probably.
Yeah. Those were the people who told stories. Let's jump in.
Sure, let's go.
What first inspired you to get into the field of television? Do you see your profession today as part of your calling?
Wow. Well, it's taken me back because it really started in news. And I was in high school, and I do remember in theater. I loved theater. I loved performing. And the fact that I think I was performing a skit about being a news anchor and being dramatic, It was actually a high school teacher that once said, you should go to Ryerson. Have you heard about Ryerson, radio and TV? I'd never fathomed it in a million years. And so I think getting into television was more just kind of a lovely incident of someone seeing something in me, and suddenly a world was opened. And then definitely I was passionate about it. Once I got in it, I'm like, oh, I cannot believe this is how I get to make money.
Doing what you love, right?
Yes.
Good for you, yeah. As someone working in such a high-energy, creative, and sometimes really it's an unpredictable industry, we even talked about that before, how unpredictable it can be. Are you able to integrate your Christian values into your work? For example, are there specific principles or scriptures that guide you in your decisions day to day? Well,
initially, if I think back to initially working in news, that definitely was somewhere where, at the time I thought, okay, this is a good match. We're trying to tell the truth. And, but of course, that's not always the way it works. But I feel like I've been able to sort of maintain my integrity and as a person of faith, be able to, in the areas of influence, push for those stories that I think that are important, make sure we're giving the angles, because sometimes TV is subjective, news is subjective, and so there are some times where, just people are deciding what's in, what's out, and I think that influence for the perspective of making sure we're balanced, telling the truth, and
I understand the headlines, the scandals and difficult workplace dynamics, and even moral gray areas. So we kind of working on that. How do you maintain integrity in those situations?
Well, again, so news was sort of the first place that I landed sort of in my career. And then over the years, I ended up moving into areas where, whether it was lifestyle television or documentaries, I think anytime you're in the entertainment industry, there's a lot that you cannot control, but you learn very quickly about what you can control in terms of how you're going to conduct yourself, the things that you're going to be a part of. So I've been fortunate, I think, to, and that's God too, where he has put me in places where I haven't had to be compromised, or others also seek me out for my perspectives. I've always been able to share with some folks my faith. It's not always easy to be, broadcasting it off the roofs, but I've also been fortunate that over the years, I've had wonderful conversations, ability to share my
awesome.
story.
Yeah.
And even, I think through some of the times that were harder, like with personal things that went wrong, with losses, with my own sort of health things. I was able to have those conversations with people and encourage them and share why I'm able to get through things that, otherwise I feel like they could break me. So.
Right, yeah. When you were in the news, the entertainment industry has its share of headlines, scandals, difficult workplace dynamics, and even moral gray areas, and even in terms of what news you present and the angle that you have to present it. So how do you maintain your integrity when the pressure is on? And have you ever had to navigate moments where your faith and values were really put to the test? You don't have to give me specific examples, but just generally.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I think, and I'm thinking back, 20 years ago, especially in news, I think throughout my career, I've always kind of had this label as I am the PG-13 girl in a world that's not. And, sometimes you're working in environments, but people recognize, hey, you're a little bit different, and I don't want to go into that. I'm not going to gossip about that. And people seek you out knowing there's just a little bit something different about how you carry yourself. And so, it's been that navigating. Actually, God's been good too, because, I have been able to enjoy wonderful experiences and avoid some of that sticky situations that I don't really want to be in. And that's whether it's news or whether it was, just producing documentaries and difficult things. Yeah. And so many people know where I stand and where my faith is. And so I'm just fortunate that I have been able to navigate a lot of sometimes I would think, why am I even in this? Actually, or more likely, it's quite shocking I'm in this industry. I kind of stand out like a sore thumb. But at the same time, I feel like I've been able to, God's given me the ability to just sort of integrate. I'm serving a purpose, serving a function. And actually over the years, folks would seek me out too in quiet and personal moments, maybe knowing some of the things that I've been through, some of the health crisis, some of the losses, and sought me out, even to pray. And so I guess that goes to the idea that, people of faith, Christians, we can be everywhere in different environments. And
that's must have been difficult not to be the not to follow rumors or in a industry that has a lot of rumors.
Sure. Yeah, now, fortunately, I never really worked on the entertainment side. Like, I'm working in news. Of course, there's, a lot going on in news gossip, and government and scandals. But at least at the time in my years in news, there was, can't speak to right now, but there was a commitment to making sure that we are getting both sides of an issue. And so, obviously, if I was working in the more sensational side of entertainment, that might be an entirely different game. But for the years I was in news, and again, just fortunate for that.
Did you want to talk a little bit more about sharing your faith with people, others, through your work? Maybe a moment where God opened a door unexpectedly?
This was a little while ago where, sometimes I would have these conversations if I was working with someone very closely, like, say, an editor in a booth for months at a time, and we would have these faith conversations. And maybe it was just sort of questions or back and forth or denial. And then, years later, I can remember one person just coming back to me to talk about, hey, Margot, seeking me, like we were lost contact. And so to tell me that they became a Christian and found faith and had to tell me. And I was blown away. And I guess, like I said, these conversations that you have, not confrontationally, just genuine sort of curiosity. And so there have been a few instances like that throughout my life where, again, just conversations, but clearly years later they felt to come back to talk to me about something or bring it up, or in the moment of their crisis, ask me to pray for them, which was like, ooh, that's wonderful.
That's
so
excellent.
It's not always, necessarily overt, but hopefully the way I live and the way I carry myself, others see, notice, and often I've always said folks end up talking to me about faith more than I do. They will bring it up with me and start that conversation. So, you know.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face in balancing your Christian faith with the demands of your profession, or have faced? And how do you practically navigate those moments of tension?
Well, in recent years, and this is something when I was younger, obviously, you know, I'm very much involved in Stone, have been from the beginning, and church. And the reality, I'm probably thinking back a few years ago, but, you know, TV is relentless. It's sometimes feels like it's 24 hours, it's 7 days a week. And I think in the beginning, there was a lot of expectation. You know, you're going to work all the time. And I do have memories of early on, while still young, sort of saying, you know, Sundays are not the day for me to work, and kind of sticking with that as much. Not always. Over the years, there are times, certainly, you're traveling, crunch, but as much as possible to honor that, hey, I'm in church, I've got commitments. And it's not easy because, in all truth, especially when you're young in television, yeah, it's relentless, the schedules, you're giving it all. And I think that was something I remember noticing early on that, yeah, me and my colleagues, they were, you know, entirely dialed into the idea of let's do it, let's work hard, we'll keep going. And I always had an attitude of, I don't love it that much that I want to give up all my evenings. That was probably some of the early signals that in general, news and current affairs, you know what I mean, wasn't
Right,
it.
yeah.
And I do remember not long after that, I did segue into lifestyle TV, which was HGTV was just coming on the scene at the time. And I loved it. And I remember the moment that I decided to leave a full-time job in news at a 6-week gig to work on an indoor gardening show that nobody had ever heard of. And when I made this transition, it was like a weight off my back. I was so happy. Just because, for one, the demands of news and working in that cycle, it was a weight off my back. It was a 5-day gig, and it was more inspiring, you know, to be talking, to interviewing people about orchids and flowers. I was happy as a clam, even though I left, you know, a marquee news program. I couldn't have been happier. And that was sort of the start of the next phase of working in, like just lifestyle TV, cooking shows, design shows. I was in my happy place, and it was such a nice departure from what I was doing before.
Nice. Yeah. HGTV. I remember watching that a couple of times. But what was the name of your show? Any shows that?
Oh, there were so many. Goodness. Design for Living, Canadian House and Home. I did some time with the Property Brothers, Color Confidential. Honestly,
Property Brothers. I love that show.
So many. One House, Two Looks. Every show you can think of.
Awesome. There's a verse we often come back to, Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not with human masters. How does this shape the way you approach your work?
Okay, well, certainly in the past, where sometimes you would, when I was producing, and you'd feel like, is this where, you know, is this where I'm supposed to be? And but at the same time, you know, God would give me so many wonderful opportunities, and it was then it would become clear, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to, you know, hopefully be a light, be the salt, be the light, and be the soft place, the reflection of him in an industry, the PG-13 of myself in an industry that's kind of harsh. And then, you know, as I've started to segue into a new area, actually, you know, I'd started building my brand photography at the same time when I was sort of working on documentaries and HGTV shows. So during that time, I would start to segue into this new area, and that I was able to use a lot of these new skills that I was developing with photography and video, and use them right here at the church. And so it was a feeling that this skill set was serving on so many levels, and incredibly rewarding to be able to use these skills, which I felt when I was producing for a big team, it didn't feel that way. But now that I was working in a new environment, I could see, hey, these gifts, God gave them to me, and I can pay them forward and use them and do use them. And I love that. So hope that.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about that transition from production and photography, and what does that look like right now?
Well, again, I discovered my love of photography kind of by accident, age 50. And I honestly discovered it by, finally taking a course to learn how to shoot video on one of these newer cameras. I was thinking, okay, maybe the skill will help me in my TV career. Took a part-time course, took one photo by accident on the same camera, and immediately I fell in love with photography. I mean, I know video, moving pictures, but wow, one photo. And so this really started this new trajectory. I was still working in TV, but building photography on the side, loving it. I would do headshots for colleagues, even at the church. I've had, little while, and then mini sessions for the public, mini sessions for many of my friends at church. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it. And I felt God gave me a gift that I was good at it, that I connected with people. And so it really lit me up. And I used to think and would say, joking, not joking, I am useless if I'm not working TV. I am no transferable skills, which was not true. So a lot of the skills that I used when I was working for others, I now am working for myself, and I can control. I'm still in transition, still building.
Even after 5 years?
Yeah, part-time. Part-time,
okay.
Doing it with TV. And it's only just this last year where I'm kind of going for it. And yeah, I'm in a season where, wow, I'm trusting God because, it's a different world. It's a little scary world, walking by faith, not by sight. Because if I walk by sight, it's not looking good. Yeah. But yeah, it's just been a real blessing. And just that idea of, who starts something new at age 50? Are you crazy? And so, yeah, I'm on a new ride, and I'm excited. I feel like God is guiding me, and He's, I'm trusting Him.
But I think it keeps you young if you try something new.
100%. It can be scary because, you just got more ducks in a row, and
that's right.
You're thinking about retirement. Others are getting ready to retirement, and you're shifting. But hey, God, I'm trusting you to make it work.
Yeah. All right. So in the past, you were working with a lot of deadlines and working through the night, but you've kind of talked about you wanted your personal time. So how do you navigate the Sabbath day, demanding, with the nature of work, honoring the need to rest and spend some time with God on what I call the worship day, Sunday. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, again, ever since slowly starting to segue out of television in general and into this new world, as entrepreneur, you do have the ability to kind of set your schedule, the greatest thing, and decide, this is when I work, this is when I don't work, carve off, protect your Sundays, because you're not going to find me. I'm in church. And so that's been a nice thing to have, and try to build in rest. Although sometimes when you're working for yourself, you're now working more hours, but you can break that day up, start in the day, stop, come off. And so, that has been, I think, the biggest blessing moving into the new thing, to just control the days, the times, the volunteering. I love being a part of so many activities here at the church and elsewhere. And for many years, I couldn't be a firm commitment because I don't know when I'm, you never know. And so now I can say I'm going to be there for this on this night, and I'll be there. So, yeah.
Great. Are there specific Bible passages that you return to when you're facing tough choices or overwhelming seasons? Anything that really anchors you?
Oh, I have so many. I actually have a long list, but I'm going
That's
to give
okay,
you a couple right now, Lauren. Actually, my phone is full of them, but I've
Awesome.
narrowed it down just
Okay.
for you to talk about. I think the number one, and especially right now in this season, it's been a favorite for years. Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. I've always loved this verse, but in this season, man, trusting him, not leaning on my understanding, because my understanding
That's
is
right. Yeah.
pretty shallow. So that verse means everything to me. I love it. I've always loved, actually, so many of them are from Psalms. This one is Psalms 121. And actually, when I was young, I'd memorized it. Actually, I have to just read it. The New King James sound, because that's how I memorize it. And I love my wences.
Yeah.
So I will lift up mine eyes to the hills. From whence, where? Where comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day or the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going, both now and forevermore.
Awesome. And I love that King James version. We're just missing some these and thous.
To be honest, I have a few favorite verses like Psalm 20. Yeah. I will say it with the whences and the thous.
Psalm 23,
that's how I learned it. Yeah. And I won't go through the others, but there are so many others. I think of Jeremiah 29:11. I think of James 1:2-4. And just, if there's a common theme, it's just trusting him, trusting him. And, or Philippians, like, be not anxious. So there's so many verses that
James 1:2-4, that's the...
Consider it pure joy.
Consider it pure joy, that's right, yeah.
When you're facing any kinds of trials, which you do.
Yes.
All of us do.
We all do, yeah.
Work, personal.
Yeah, sometimes that's hard, but
it is, especially when you don't see the outcome. So I have verses in my phone, and actually I just highlighted a few, but there's a long stack, and I'm regularly reading through them in the day just to remind me.
Good, yeah. So what advice do you have for young Christian professionals, especially those who want to excel in their fields but stay deeply aligned with their faith?
Well, I think if God's calling you to an area, you can't just look at, there's no other Christian people there. Sometimes he puts you somewhere for a very specific reason, and you can serve him wherever you are. I think when I was younger, I would think, that's not an area for me. And I think the older you get, you realize, there's people who love the Lord everywhere, in every facet. And, the influence that they're having might be subtle, but it's there. And so, to trust him.
Great. Yeah, that's excellent advice. Before we wrap up, I want to bring us to a passage that is foundational in understanding the biblical view of work. This is from Genesis 2:15. It says, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it." Work wasn't a punishment for Adam. It was part of God's original design. It was sacred, even. And then Colossians 3:23, which we mentioned earlier, work with all your heart as unto the Lord. When you hear these passages, how do they shape how you view your career and calling?
It has been for me that, God has given me skills and the ability to work, but not just work that I've enjoyed, work that I've sometimes felt like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
Yes, yeah.
He has given me work that has taken me to places, traveled, delighted me. I love that verse, delight yourself in the Lord. He will give you the desires, right? Through work, I have had some beautiful desires fulfilled with travel and adventure. And again, that I was paid for. And so, it's an honor to work. And God is gracious to sometimes give us work that we love.
Well, that's awesome. So one final thought. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to integrate their faith more deeply into their work life?
It's talking to God and asking Him for opportunities to do that. In the last year and a half, I found even just starting my day, like with scriptures and praying specifically over what I'm doing, my work. I don't think I did that in my past careers, but like just with what I'm building now, a lot more specific, dedicated morning, first time of the day, talking to God about my business and praying over what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So certainly, God's the guide, and He does if you seek Him and ask Him. And so that's for all of us, myself included, continue to seek Him.
Yeah. And for anyone listening who may be struggling, maybe you feel torn between your job and your faith, or you don't feel purpose in your work, we want to encourage you. God is present in your work. He is shaping you through your work, and He can use you wherever you are. Margot, thank you again for sharing your wisdom, your journey, and your heart today. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time for another conversation on living out faith in everyday life.
Thanks for listening to the Stone Church Podcast. For more information about the Christian faith and Stone Church, visit us online at stonechurch.ca.
I know I'm really handsome, and you don't want to have a look
I can't stop looking at this man.